For me, diversity for anything is the makeup of different types of things.
Relatively sort of factual, straight to the point answer, which is that the demographic of the organisation should match the demographic of society in which the organisation is placed. But for me, I think diversity goes a little bit further. I think that diversity encompasses things such as socioeconomic diversity and neurodiversity, ultimately leading towards an ultimate diversity of thought.
Fundamentally, it's having different types of something being part of the whole.
I believe diversity to mean being inclusive for a range of different groups.
For me, diversity means the ability for us to champion people's different backgrounds and allowing them to bring to the table their experiences, their cultures and their skills, and allowing us to be stronger together as a team.
For me, diversity is probably more about no matter where you're from, what skin colour you are, what experiences you've had, all of that is, for me, diversity.
For me, diversity is having a range of people who look different, think different, feel different to situations and have different experiences.
Diversity to me means kind of celebrating everyone's differences and accepting people's differences and having an organisation, community that has representation of people from different backgrounds, skin colour, the way they look, the way they are.
I think it's important to talk about inclusion because it's so poorly understood. And that's no one's fault, because honestly, inclusion is so incredibly complex because of the diversity of people, of backgrounds that we're around. It would simply be impossible for everyone to know everything about everyone. So I think that it's important for us to everyone to try their best to understand where people come from. And importantly, not just, statistically, demographically where they come from, but how they feel about certain things, certain situations, certain types of conversation. Understanding that is really what understanding inclusion is.
If we take it into the society, if different group of people's opinions are not taken into consideration when making rules, they stop contributing. They become dummies and they completely disengage. This is why it's very important for organizations to be very inclusive in all they do, because they are made up of different people.
Well, everyone's a big community of people that come from different backgrounds, different experiences, cultures, skin colours, everything. But in terms of being inclusive or inclusivity, is making sure that all those people within those backgrounds, experiences are able to be themselves, not separate, be counted, and I'd say probably be part of a big community that is accepted, I think. So inclusion for me is a lot to do with accepting people for how they are.
To me, diversity and inclusion comes under two folds. Number one, how people look, and then number two, how people think. With regards to how people look, I think it's really important to have a diversity in terms of how people look, because being in a workplace where everyone looks the same can be daunting and it can be isolating. I think it's really important to have the opportunity to see people of your culture, people of different cultures even, so you can learn more. But that also goes in terms of how people think. So I wouldn't want to have a workplace where everyone is diverse in how they look, but they think the same way. So for me, having both of those two elements is extremely important in terms of diversity and inclusion.
Diversity and inclusion, to me, are interconnected, but they're definitely not mutually exclusive.
To me, diversity and inclusion can be across different dimensions. So thinking about it from a gender perspective and also thinking about it from a race perspective.
Creating the space for those people who come from all different backgrounds to feel like they can bring all of themselves to that environment and not be judged.
To me, diversity and inclusion is valuing people's differences.
To me, diversity and inclusion is appreciating difference.
Diversity and inclusion is about being able to bring your authentic self to work, being true to who you are and not having to change who you are. So not changing pronouns, not trying to cover anything up, and just being able to bring who you are, experience who you want to be, and ensure it's about being like authentic to yourself.
Unlimited opportunity for those with limited resources. So I've personally experienced, coming from a working class background, how knowing the right people, acting in a certain way can get you further in life. I believe those sorts of soft skills should be available to everyone, no matter what your background is.
I believe diversity and inclusion is in every space the proportionate representation of the population and a variety of voices and perspectives. And hand in hand with that, those people should be able to bring their whole selves to that space and be unashamedly who they are.
Diversity and inclusion, for me, both go hand in hand. I think they're absolutely essential to create a community that has both a broad range of people as part of that, and where everyone feels safe and feels at home. For me, diversity means the ability for us to champion people's different backgrounds and allowing them to bring to the table their experiences, their cultures, and their skills, and allowing us to be stronger together as a team. And inclusion for me means the ability for everyone to feel part of that team, feel part of that community, regardless of what backgrounds or cultures they may come from, and ensuring that everyone is able to collaborate and succeed together.
If I had a wish, I wish all leaders would think of being the minority for a day, would step in the shoes of a black person for a day. Because bet you, if they do that, they would never do the policies they do, which are very non-inclusive. So my wish would be all leaders be a minority for a day. The world will be a much better place to live. It starts at the top. Because often, if leaders are not considering diversity and inclusion in their policies, it affects our whole organization. They alone have the power to really create policies that affect people's lives. So my wish would be for leaders to see and be in the shoes of someone like me, a black employee, for a day.